Joining us now is OjyOkpe with stories trending around the world. Hello, Jinx.
I saw that. Good morning, Dr. Abati. How are you?
I'm good.
Great. Yeah. I'm feeling excited this morning. Yay. Good morning. How are you, Ayo?
Very well, thank you.
Great. There's something going on. Good morning, Rufai. I love that look, Ayo. You too. Great. Perfect.
I'm punching the air.
I love it. Well, all right. Good morning to you, viewers. Here are some of the stories that are trending across the globe. In Mexico, United States President Joe Biden met with Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador and Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau for a series of talks on migration, trade, and climate change on Tuesday, as the three leaders tried to mend tensions that have divided the continent. Then, in the United States, the Duke of Sussex, Prince Harry, accused his stepmother, Camilla, the Queen Consort, of leaking private conversations to the media to burnish her own reputation as he promotes his autobiography, Spare, which lays bare to the story of his life behind palace walls. In interviews broadcast Sunday and Monday, Harry accused members of the royal family of getting into bed with the devil to gain favorable tabloid coverage, singling out Camilla's efforts to rehabilitate her image with the British people after her long-time affair with his father, now King Charles III. In Nigeria, the governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, on Monday announced the delivery of 2 new train sets for the first phase of the Blue Line Rail project, which he says is expected to move more than 500,000 passengers when it's completed. The Blue Line project is one of the 6 rail lines and monorails prescribed for Lagos in the state's Strategic Transport Master Plan. The latest development comes ahead of the project's inauguration by President Muhammadu Buhari, slated for later this month. Under sports, the tournament director at the Australian Open, Craig Tiley, announced on Monday that players competing at the tournament will not need to take COVID-19 tests and can play if they have the virus, however recommending that players stay away when they are ill. Last year, players had to test daily and isolate if positive, and also had to be vaccinated. 9-time Australian Open champion Novak Djokovic, who is unvaccinated, was deported last January, just before the tournament began, because of his vaccination status. The Australian Open starts on Monday, January 16, and runs till Sunday, January 29. Finally, under entertainment, thousands of people in a petition have called for the disqualification of Afrobeat singer Brimo from the 8th All Africa Music Awards over his contentious remarks about the Igbo community. The 36-year-old singer, who was nominated alongside other African artists under the Songwriter of the Year category, put out a derogatory post last week condemning the Igbo ethnic group and went as far as retweeting a post that tagged Igbos as senseless people. The petition, titled Stop Brimo from winning the All-Africa Music Award for Songwriter of the Year, according to the petitioner, Charles Ogundele, is to send a strong message to the singer and people like him that they can't get away with such blatant ethnic bigotry. The 8th edition of Afrima is set to hold in Senegal on January 15th. Well, as of this morning, Ayo, this petition, I believe, has garnered more than 3,000 response on this, and so it should, because you did see the tweet. It was, quite appalling that a celebrity of such repute could use his, status to bring about this ethnic bigotry. It was. I want you to quickly comment on him.
Thank you very much, Oji, for talking about the fact that he's a star. He has influence. He has close to 500,000 followers on Twitter. He's won a number of awards. He's recognized in Nigeria for being an indigenous artist who hasn't lost the essence of his music. And so a number of people respected, I use the word respected because I think he's lost the respect of many people by these actions. Brimo and celebrities in general have to be careful with the platforms that they have. Yes, it may seem like just an artist who is going off the rails for whatever reason, but he has people who are following him, young and old. He's in effect hitting the polity, if I could put that word, in a time where the unity of Nigeria is fragile. You then come up with a careless and irresponsible tweet, and then rather than apologizing or retracting when you were called out, you decided to do even more. I mean, look at Whoopi Goldberg. As famous as Whoopi Goldberg is, she made an anti-Semitic statement, which she said, oh, well, she was just expressing her view, and she had to apologize and then take it back. But what is Brimo doing? Going ahead and saying, oh, he doesn't care, and even making it worse. One, I believe that this pulling out of Afrima is not enough penalty for what he has done. I'm glad that they reported his account to Twitter for hate speech, and I believe that there should be stiffer penalties, not just from his fans, but from his music colleagues as well, to call him out. Because Brimo's music is not just to a particular ethnic group. I won't even join issues and begin to name ethnic groups and talk about that. It's below his below standard and below expectations from him. His music is for all, and it is disappointing that any person, notwithstanding a celebrity, would make such a careless and irresponsible statement. I believe that there should be penalties, absolutely.
Well said, Ayo. Well, let's continue what's trending. The People's Democratic Party's presidential campaign council on Monday debunked claims on social media suggesting that the party's flag bearer, Atiku Abubakar, is ill and had been flown to London for medical treatment. On Sunday, the spokesperson of the party's presidential campaign council, Dino Melaye, in a short video clip posted on social media, described the reports as lies of repentant liars, adding that the former vice president traveled to the United Kingdom at the invitation of the British government. Well, a video now making the rounds on social media revealed the moment Atiku arrived in the United Kingdom looking hale and hearty.
Oh boy, really the 10?
Yeah, my see daddy, don't cry. All right.
Dr. Mati, I love that video. It was like, see, Daddy, I really showed the father side of Atiku Abubakar, for once. I really love to see that video. But, this story has been circulating for days now on social media. The fact that Atiku is not out campaigning as his, other opponents are doing at this point. What's your take on the fact that he's in the United Kingdom at this moment?
Well, this is election season, so there will definitely be a lot of candidates watching. Not just at the presidential level, but at other levels, because anybody who wants to be president or even governor in a state, people will take a keen interest in your affairs in a wholesale manner. And I always tell people that, yes, the principle is voluntary non-fit injuria. In other words, don't go near the kitchen if you don't like heat. If you expose yourself, then of course, you have to live up to the consequences, including people prying into your privacy and trying to find out what exactly you are up to. But the PDP spokespersons, I think they've done a good job of trying to dispel the rumors. Both Dele Momodu and Senator Dino Melaye. Dino Melaye showed the PDP presidential candidate arriving in London. Dele Momodu pointed out his itinerary, that he went to Dubai. From Dubai, he's now in London, and that he's due to return to Nigeria on Thursday, and then the campaigns will resume. Okay, so with information, with the facts, stating them as they are, that time. However, even the fact that he's in London has generated some questions, additional questions. I've seen people saying, okay, if he's in the UK to meet with British officials, as indicated, where is any British official coming to receive him? Well, the question about that is that, every country has its own protocols. You have to ask yourself, what category of British officials is he meeting with? What is the content of his itinerary in the UK? Because some people will say, is it only Omokri family and Dino Melaye and High Chief Dokpesi who were receiving him? Where are the British people? Well, I don't know. Waziri Atiku Abubakar himself has put out a tweet on Twitter saying that he's in the UK, to discuss issues that will help to restore Nigeria, to recover Nigeria. But whatever the details are, I'm sure that we will know in due course. But this is not the right time for any presidential candidate to disappear.
You're absolutely right, Dr. Bati.
So that's why,
yes,
people are doing bush combing, looking for the presidential candidate. They are doing candidate watching. And I think the people who have turned that into a sport, their position is perfectly understandable.
Bush combing. Ayo, let me take a tweet so I can show you what people are saying. Let's take this tweet. This person wrote, "While I will not mock Atiku's health, it is only God who can ascertain the health of a man. The man, Tinubu, they called sick, is restlessly campaigning as if his party is not the ruling party. God is great." Ayo.
This tweet just encapsulates the minds of a number of Nigerians. I think we've gone to a most sad state in where we have to be asking for help. Well, that's good, health certificate, because we don't want to be burnt again. That's just the truth. Nigerians have been burnt before, and from our experiences, we don't want to be funding hospital bills of our president or counting the number of days our president is here as opposed to being abroad on health grounds. It's great to see his video is out. My echo, I was just laughing when Doctor was speaking about by the way, that was Breno Omokwi's daughter that presented him with the flowers. So his people were there, but I would assume even bare good manners would say that if you invite someone to meet with them, especially someone of a high ranking, you'll be at the airport to receive them. I think that's even beyond for diplomacy and all that. You would go and meet them, but it looks like it's the PDP that's invited him to London or to the United Kingdom because they're the ones who've gone out to welcome him. It'll be great to see him come home. What is this obsession with London? I don't understand. Let him come home to Nigerians who are the ones that are voting for him and come and campaign.
You're not alone, Ayo. Rufai.
So during political season, there's all sorts of stories running around. It's political season. But the formative question here is the man ill? That's a proof of life. We can see the man walking. Yes, his PDP people and everything might be there to welcome him. But let's set it empirically straight. Correct me if I'm wrong. Even if President Muhammadu Buhari is invited officially to the UK, I've not seen the British Prime Minister come and receive him at the airport. The last time I saw that kind of honor was accorded to any Nigerian leader, that they had representative, I think even up to the vice president of a world power receiving Nigerian prime minister then, was when Tafawa Balewa went on his couple of days trip in America in the 60s. That was the last time I saw. But normally, if it's an intergovernmental meeting, I'm not sure that predominantly it's okay, an entourage comes to receive him. Since it's an intergovernmental interface, he's not yet the president. Maybe if he's the president, that might be different. But even if he's the president, I've not seen a place where the British Prime Minister or leader of another nation comes out, wait out at the airport. I have not seen that in a while, all right? So please do not get me wrong as regards that. But also moving forward, I think what is incumbent on our political candidates, and like I said rightly, is be honest and transparent with Nigerians. Nigerians, as we speak today, need to be able to know the tax returns of their presidential candidates. Let's even see how much they're paying in taxes. Let's even see how much they're contributing to their country, and also their medical reports, so we can see what is going on with them. At least we can have a fair idea. We are not saying, if people have medical qualms, then don't vote for them. No, it is God that owns life. One of the most effective presidents in America, I keep saying, Roosevelt, was in a wheelchair. And he marshaled out a war. But let the people know. And that's just it. So it's campaign season, and people will go to have foreign meetings. All the political candidates across board have had foreign meetings. Of all the top political parties, they've had meetings and everything. Yes, we know it's a mindset thing, that foreign optics make you look good and all of that. But I think until we get to that point where you also have people to be able to look inwards, then, and campaign more to your people. But every political candidate, I think even leading up to the French election, there was a time President Macron had a speaking engagement in London, if my memory serves me right.
All right, Rufai. We shall take another story. President Muhammadu Buhari on Monday, during his visit to Yola, the Adamawa State capital, called on voters in the state to make history by electing APC gubernatorial candidate Aishatu Binani as the first female governor in the country. The president made the call during the inauguration of the All Progressives Congress presidential and gubernatorial campaigns in the state. Buhari stated that Binani's track record of dedication to duty and service will improve the livelihood of citizens. The president also campaigned for the party's presidential candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who during the rally took a swipe at the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, stating that the former vice president, who is from Adamawa State, would privatize government enterprises and leave Nigerians with nothing, and urged people of Adamawa to vote for him and not for Atiku if they want a better country. Well, shortly after the APC rally ended, some young people in Adamawa State took to the streets to condemn the president's visit and that of the APC flag bearer, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The irate young people were seen holding buckets of water as they washed up what they considered a stain of APC leaders. They also set brooms on fire. Let's take a look. I mean, that is Nigeria's former vice president's state. And, a lot of people have been talking about the power the APC might, hold in that state. Let me just take a quick tweet from Usman, who wrote, Buhari went to Adamawa State to kill many birds with one stone, to campaign for Asiwaju in Atiku State, to campaign for the only APC female Guba candidate, Senator Binani, to galvanize his over 12 million votes for his successor, Asiwaju Tinubu. First of all, I'd just like to say that congratulations to the APC for electing this young woman as the gubernatorial candidate for their state. Dr. Abati.
Well, it wasn't that easy. She was challenged, of course, given the system of patriarchy that we run in the country. But of course, she won, and she became the candidate. So I imagine definitely will gladden the hearts of the women folk in Nigeria who have been talking about greater representation for women at all levels, considering the fact that women constitute 49% of the population. And as I pointed out earlier, in other African countries, notably Rwanda and Senegal and some other countries also, even in Zimbabwe, you'll find that women play a much more central role in political decision-making processes. So I also understand your excitement. Everybody would, of course, support the idea of the politics of inclusion.
Absolutely.
But the absolute test is on election day to see whether, the people of Adamawa will go in that direction. Now, the president going to Adamawa to campaign, as had been previously advertised, has laid to rest speculations about what some people say is body language, or what some people describe as his lack of interest in the candidacy of the presidential candidate of his own party. I'm sure, I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of today, some people will also start asking that, where is Vice President Osinbajo too? He should show up and campaign for, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So, but the party is trying to present a united front. And they've chosen Adamawa State, which is the home, the state of the PDP presidential candidate, again, to send across a very strong signal. Now, the PDP has its own issues in that Adamawa State. But before I go to that, it wasn't only the president that campaigned. We also saw I've seen a picture, an interesting picture of the former Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, all fully turbanned. In fact,
he has a title. So
I know that. Okay. And I saw the picture. I said, this will be of interest, because he's actually trying to identify whether it was at a campaign to identify with the gubernatorial candidate or other candidates in the state, or with Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We'll see as the campaigns continue, or maybe it was there also to support the president in his second major outing in support of the party. But I would say Adamawa State, in terms of the politics of the PDP, is also divided. Babachi Lawal, former secretary to the government of the Federation, did not attend that event. Okay? Jibril Abindo, former governor of Adamawa State, in fact, just about the same time, he left the All Progressives Congress and he crossed over to the People's Democratic Party. And he's also a very strong stakeholder from Adamawa State. The final thing was the video you showed of young people taking to the streets and burning brooms and all that. Well, all of that, it's just politics. People are very passionate about their choices. Some of these people may even be, may have been instigated by some people. After all, in 2015, that same broom used to be used to sweep people's footprints, from APC state. Yeah. So this is part of the kind of histrionics that you see. But what is important is that those who support politicians should never allow their protests to degenerate into violence.
I like that.
And that is why the security agencies must be very firm. You can express your political choice, but don't cause violence, don't cause mayhem, don't violate the public order. Right. That is important.
All right then, we'll take another story. On Monday, there was mayhem in Lagos after police fired tear gas canisters to disperse members of the Yoruba Nation movement who gathered in the Ojota area of the state for a rally. The agitators were said to have gathered around the Gani Fayemi Freedom Park for a mega rally to demand what they described as a separate nation of the Yoruba people of Nigeria before violence erupted. The Lagos State Police spokesperson, Benjamin Hundeyin, in a statement accused the agitators of disrupting social and commercial activities in the Ojota area under the pretext of the rally, adding that 2 policemen were shot by the agitators. Speaking after the incident, one of the leaders of Ilana Omodua, Professor Banji Akintoye, alleged that police officers killed 2 agitators during the peaceful rally. Let's take a look at this video. I don't know what could have happened here, Rufai, because I did see the video. It did appear to be a peaceful rally. And, I don't know if you saw that video in full. There was a dead man there. I mean, it did appear that it was one of, the agitators that was shot dead there. I mean, I don't even understand the statement the police has released as regards to the people that have died from this protest.
I'm not going to be surprised that people died. Like I said, it will happen again. Culture with strategy for breakfast. Bola Rahim didn't have to do anything. They just had to tell her park before policemen opened fire. And she was killed like that. That's that about that. And many other people that died. So I'm not surprised that in riot, police will not kill people. It's become a trend. And that's why we need to go back and equip the police force and do a lot more. It's become a trend. The last rally, Yoruba Nation rally, you remember how the innocent girl died, stray bullets. Yes. You remember how they first denied? Before they finally took responsibility. What has been done for the family? Maybe some things have been done for the family, I don't know of the girl. But you see how the life was ended. Our police need to be equipped better. Can't you use water to disperse them? Are they not? If you go and check online, there are international protocols on how to check riots, tear gas and other things. But it's only in Nigeria, live bullet. They are so quick. You heard the things Mr. Femfalana said when we had NSAS. That must have how many tear gas canisters do we even have? But also for the Yoruba Nation protesters, please. Yes, your protest is out there, but please keep it within reach. We don't want anything that will set the nation on fire. But you have a right of protest.
Absolutely.
But it has to be said, our police need to be worked on. Because we keep having things like this. It's sad, but it will happen again.
The irony of this is that it happened at the Gani Fayemi Freedom Park. It's so sad because we've talked about this a number of times and it keeps happening. It keeps happening. We have peaceful. It was disheartening to watch the video where we could hear live rounds being fired. Why does the police have to take live rounds to rallies where the protesters are not armed? Yes. Doesn't make any sense.
Dr. Bati?
I mean, the police, they are also claiming that the protesters had weapons.
Yes.
Whatever it is, this is an election. This is not war.
Yeah.
And on no account should anybody turn it into a war. And the security agencies too, I mean, they shouldn't be trigger happy. There are ways of controlling crowd and ensuring peace, law, and order. But the people who have died is so unfortunate.
Absolutely.
You know, it's a major loss to their families.
Absolutely.
And also to their communities.
Absolutely.
We must prevent and not escalate
Absolutely.
the situation.
Thank you all for your great analysis, as always, on What's Trending. Well, that's all I have for you on What's Trending today. I'll see you all tomorrow.